Hey y'all, I'm out here at B-Rod and Customs today. Actually, I'm not in the B-Rod and Customs shop. They're both Larry's businesses, but we're actually in the Strip Technologies shop, so I didn't want to get you confused. But the reason I'm here today is because he's got these Mustangs that, you remember I did the story on the platform? I'm sorry. Hey Larry, how are you, brother?
Hey, buddy, I'm just fine.
Good. I did the story on the platform, and this car's built on one of those platforms, right?
Yes, sir, it is. It's the prototype for all the platforms from here on out.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about it. What? First of all, what year is it? 60?
This is a 1967 Mustang. Started life as a GT car, fastback car, and it was purchased to build an Eleanor clone for a girl who's a pilot. And the car looked good when we first got it. And we took it to Strip Technologies, and the first thing we do is disassemble them and blast them. When we got through removing all the paint, rust, and crud, we wound up with a car that had very little good sheet metal. So at that point, we needed to decide, what are we going to do? Are we going to replace all of the old panels with new Mustang panels, or were we going to build a hot rod? Well, the criteria that she gave us was lots of power, a 5-speed transmission, and big wheels.
All right.
Okay.
My kind of girl.
Yes.
And a pilot.
She's a pilot. She's a cool pilot.
Right.
A good-looking girl,
right.
too, and lots of fun.
Cool.
And so, what we decided to do was, let's build us a hot rod. And so the first thing that we did was, what kind of engine are we going to have? So if you'll walk over
All
here,
right.
I want to show you the engine that we chose.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yes, sir. This is a Ford Racing 4.6 liter Cobra motor, and
is it new?
it's a brand new engine. And now it's got some age on it because it's been 4 years since I started this project.
Wow.
This is just kind of a slow development thing. But this engine doesn't have much horsepower.
What, 450?
No, it'll be in the 325 range, I believe.
Really?
Now, so what we did, we decided, well, we need more power. We won't punch, but we don't want to get away from good drivability. So we chose a Kenny Bell blower.
Okay.
To go on top of this stuff.
So it was 3-something before. Yeah,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
3-something. That's motor in my car.
Now,
Yeah.
we're going to be cranking out,
450.
450 at the wheels probably.
Right.
And so it's going to be fun.
Yes.
It's got a 5-speed Tremec behind it.
Right. How cool is that?
Now, with this engine, how are we going to get that in a Mustang with shock towers?
Right.
Well, from past histories, we realized that, we can buy front-end kits and modify them, but we still have to have something substantial to hook it to. Right? So from this point, I began to develop a thought in my head of, well, we get a lot of these cars in, and we do a lot of them similar. So why not try to build one that could be replicated the next time?
Right.
So that's what we wound up with this as far as the platform goes.
So you didn't use hardly anything of that car you bought in the end, did you?
No. In the end, I've kept the roof.
Yeah, that's it.
That's about it.
And then you said you bought an Eleanor kit, but then you didn't use very much of that either.
We didn't use it. But the Eleanor kit story will come a little later. Right now, focusing on this platform, I'm a dealer for Chris Olson Chassis Works out of California, and I feel like they are one of the best premier chassis builders in the country. Not the best, but one of the premier.
They've got a good name. Yeah, they got a good
name.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happen to build a lot of Mustang parts, and they also build generic type universal parts. So I chose their canted 4-bar system for the rear, and we choose their front suspension kit. It's got 4 coilovers on it, rack and pinion steering. So we took all these pieces, and we first bought our wheels. Chose our wheels.
That's how you start at your business.
That's how I start
That's where they start.
That's right. We buy wheels.
Right.
We put the wheels on it. We got the look. So then we set the suspension up for that look, and then we built a complete frame from bumper to bumper. and then we took a set of floor pans, flat sheet metal, bent them, and made a tunnel and hand-made that, and plug welded it to those frame rails so that it's still a unibody car.
Right.
So
can we go in here and look through the window what you're talking about?
Yes, sir. So you've got a flat floor.
Right.
And now this one has a console already on it, but we made the tunnel, and I made it large enough to fit a T56. That's a 6-speed transmission.
Right.
So if you ever want to change one out.
Well, she's going to want one by the time you get this done.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right.
I know that.
Because the 6-speeds are what everybody's going to now.
They're going to 6 speeds.
Right.
And I've drove the 6 speeds, and if you drive one in town a lot, 5 is plenty.
Sure.
6 is fun to talk about.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, once we built this, we're thinking, man, how is the easy way to copy this? Well, I happen to have a very close friend who has a Mustang who we are doing work on that owns a CMM arm and a laser scanner. So we took his CMM arm and we measured this whole platform so that we captured all the data, converted that data to usable information that can be used on a CNC plasma or water jet or laser cutter.
Right.
So we cut all of our pieces. We have all of our information, angles, radiuses. We've got all of this information. Now I can build 100 of these things, and they're exactly the same.
Right.
And then I'm able to just take a Mustang body, cut it off of the frame, and set the body shell down on my platform.
And then you say, too, with this car, you're also working on being able to sell the body pieces to it.
Yes, sir. As this car began to develop, PJ and I are sort of known for our artistic visual concepts, our ideas,
right,
and being able to bring those to fruition through a lot of hard work and good artistic eyes. Well, this Mustang has a lot of subtle changes that make it almost a Mustang, such as a crisp line from front windshield to back glass.
Right.
That didn't come. And then we followed that line.
So you added that. You added that in there.
We added this. There's a slight one that disappears.
Right.
And then we added one.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
the back,
Cool.
coming on down
Cool.
the trunk.
Yeah.
And then also on the hood, we've got the same thing going on.
Oh yeah.
We follow this all the way across and down. Now, from the point that we had the body setting on the frame, she wanted an Eleanor car. Well, Eleanor cars, unless you've looked at one close, you don't realize those were movie cars. Those cars were not really made to drive every day. And I'd never built one, so I ordered a kit. The kit came in, and it was some of the worst quality fiberglass that I've ever saw in my life. And it was so bad that I, in good conscience, couldn't put this on her car. So what I did, I made an agreement with her to let me use her car to make new parts off of, and I get to capture the data, and she gets a car. And the only part we kept was the rocker down where the exhaust comes through. And even at that, the Eleanor car, the rocker comes over the fenders so that you can't even remove the fenders.
Oh wow.
So we fixed it so the fender is removable.
Okay.
From that point on,
That's amazing, though. I mean, that tells you a little bit about your work too. You're thinking ahead, just like a manufacturer would think ahead. When you build a car like this, you don't think about it getting wrecked. You don't think about it getting a dent in it. But yeah, had you not designed that, it would have been a real big pain in the, to get it fixed.
I like to think my cars are built to drive. They can be slick, they can be shiny. Even on the bottom, you can make one slick and shiny, but still make them drive. Just so happens that most of our cars are slick on the outside, and they're driven a lot more than most
Right.
show cars. But what I've done now is develop a look that was so much different than the Mustang. We've got wider fenders.
Right.
We have a straight crease that runs down the side of the car, and if you'll notice, this car is straight. This car doesn't have a bow in the fender or a bow in the door.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. like a normal Mustang
like
would.
a normal Mustang would.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'll notice that the door dead ends into a functional vent.
Yeah.
That vent goes to the rear brakes.
Okay.
Then also, it's got the rear the rear fenders are flared out. And then we come to the back. We custom made a metal trunk lid for this thing so we could get a better looking spoiler.
I got you.
The car is actually about a half-inch longer back here. And we've got a little rake to it that you don't see on the GT500s or the Eleanor cars.
Right.
So
you made this deck lid?
We made this. We made it out of metal, then copied it. And now we have a fiberglass mold. We make this. This is just raw fiberglass.
I got you. Wow.
And then we came up to the front. What are we going to do at the front? Well, the GT500 car was a beautiful car. The Eleanor car looks kind of cool. And you know, it's kind of it's a knockoff of the GT500. There's a lot of things that I like and a lot of things I don't like with all of them. So I took the visual concept and I actually took a metal hood and cut it up and got a general shape. And then we did a rough plug, pulled a mold, then made a part. This is the part that we've made, that we have crisped all lines. This is taller than most of them because that engine has to sit up high, and
right.
then we put a blower on top.
Right, right.
So it's a little higher.
It'll fit under there like that now.
It'll fit under there just like this.
Right.
And this car, the front is made different. And then, of course, the bumper looks similar to an Eleanor.
Did you make that bumper too?
Yes, sir. We made
Holy
the
smokes.
made that bumper.
That is cool, man. So if you have a Mustang like this, you're going to be able to buy that bumper and bolt it on.
If you buy my fenders.
Oh, you got to have the fenders
You
too.
have to have the fenders with it.
So it's a whole kit. Basically, in order for somebody to build one of these at their house, they would have to just have a shell,
Yes.
right? That'd be the rear quarters, the roof, that.
And actually, I recommend, unless they are builders, I'll eventually have a package that they can send their Mustang to me, and I'll cut it off, I'll put it on a platform, and then if they decide they want this exterior package, then we'll go ahead and assemble and mount it and give it to them as a roll.
I got you. Wow, that's cool.
Now, if you'll follow me, there's so many things about this car that
Sure.
is so cool.
Sure.
This car happens to belong to a pilot, as I mentioned.
Right.
And she wanted to feel the power of she flies an MD-80. That's the big plane.
Right.
4-engine, huge monster torque.
Right.
So we decided to give her a little aircraft thing.
Oh yeah, sure
inside.
enough, the gauges.
So look at the gauges.
Yeah.
Now, I couldn't leave the dash stock, could I?
No.
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 So we designed a dash that will bolt in a Mustang. This is fiberglass. It is about 1.5 inches lower, so also the seats are lower. Now that keeps your head away from the top, because Mustangs are notorious for seats set too high.
Sure.
So now you're not looking over a dash, you're looking over the hood.
Right.
Also, we custom made the console and put a GPS
Yeah, I saw that. That
navigation
looks good
radio
there, yeah.
combo.
Right.
The touch screen. Of course, it's all computerized. You see the computer over there.
Right.
This car is built to drive. It'll have a roll bar in it. It only has 2 seats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's going to be like a 2+2 or fastback in the back, where it's going to be carpeted or something?
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, in case you're wondering, well, why'd that fool paint this car and then he's doing all this work? All this paint is 2 coats of color, 1 coat of clear, to let the owner see this color. This color was custom made for her. Do we like this color? Does she like this color? The answer is she did, until she saw something else.
Right.
So
Well.
we'll be repainting in the same red tone, but maybe a little different color. And after we had it painted, she decided she wanted to put her gas lid on the side. Well, I don't like the Eleanor gas lid.
All right.
That big, bulky thing.
Right.
So we custom designed her a recessed cap. It's a flip cap, like a GT, but it mounts here and it works with the stock fuel tank.
Okay. So this will be just a disc, basically,
It's a
level
disc.
with the body.
It's not level but it's not up here. It's
Right.
real close. It's really stylish looking.
I gotcha. And then back here, it's hard to get back here, but did you do any changes back in the back?
Very little. We kept the Eleanor type tail lights in it.
It's going to have a chrome bumper on it?
No, sir. This one will be painted the same color as the car.
Cool. So that's going to be the deal. It's going to be all painted, everything.
Yes.
And these are the wheels she's going with.
That's the wheels, over Shelby wheels.
I like those.
It does have chrome door handles. That's one
Now it
thing.
is going to have door handles,
It
though.
will have door handles. Every car I build has door handles.
Really?
That's kind of, I don't build a car that you can't get in. That's personal
That
experience.
is. Yeah. Because if it's electronic only, that's it, right?
That's it. And they'll only go bad when it's raining real hard and you can't get in the car. Some major things happen. So.
Again, I guess you're right. You're thinking ahead where I may not. If you're going to drive the car a lot, that's what you're going to want. A show car, if you get locked out of it inside a Civic Coliseum somewhere, not so bad. But you're right. If it's raining, you got to get in the car and the battery's gone dead, or solar storms or whatever.
Well,
now I noticed on these rims too that they're not knockoffs, but they will knock off.
Well,
They have a center to them.
it's got a center. It's got lugs.
Right.
This is a decorative thing.
Right.
This is.
But it's not mounted to the rim. This thing will actually spin off.
Yes, it does. This is an adaptation of Shelby's real race car.
Right.
From the 60s.
Oh, I love knockoffs. I don't know how safe they are, but I sure love them.
Oh, I love them, and they are safe.
Yeah.
I put sets on other cars like that V12 powered Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Or that Banshee that I built.
Right.
So.
I'd like to do that. I like that. That is cool. So what kind of time frame are we talking, do you think? I mean, this car's taken so long not because you're slow, but because it's a prototype to what you're doing. And each one of these steps they're multiple steps. Every step's a multiple step. It's not just about putting the car back together. You're making a mold and then making pieces and blah, blah, blah. And that's what's dragging this deal out.
That's one of the reasons it's been dragging. The other reason is I'm the guy that's doing it instead of my employees. And quite frankly, I'm stretched thin.
Right.
I own Strip Technologies here in Knoxville, Tennessee, as well as B-Rodder Custom.
Right.
2 locations. It just takes a lot of my time. And
Right.
I'm not going to throw this car together.
No, I appreciate that about you, Larry. I mean, it's not about getting it done. It's about doing it right.
Why don't we go ahead and raise the car
Okay.
and we'll finish it out by showing you the platform from the bottom.
Okay, that'd be cool. Folks, we'll be right back.
All right, Scotty. Now, under the car, we've still got a unibody car, but it has a full frame. If you'll notice, this is the original frame rails. These were still good.
Okay.
In our,
so this is original 60s.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what we did was we scanned this and we copied it, and all the new cars will be made out of new subframe or new steel. But this frame goes from here all the way back to the trunk. And this ties it all together. And then we plug weld the floor pans to this frame. So we keep it as a unibody car.
But with frame supports.
With frame supports and suspension component supports.
Right.
Lots of
Well, because and correct me if I'm wrong, because I usually am wrong, but my understanding is this was a unibody car. There would be nothing from here to about in here. It would just be floor pan that was holding there, right?
That's all it was.
So this is actually, it's still a unibody car, but it's what I'm trying to explain, folks, is it's better than your normal one because it's been supported up underneath that.
Right. And the floor has been lowered.
Right.
All right. When you take
And that's to change the stance when you're sitting in the car.
That's
Give you more headroom and
correct.
sling you a little lower in it, and yeah, that's cool.
a little more comfort.
Right.
This car happens to run these long rockers for side mounts, but we've also developed them without side mounts.
Okay.
So you can use them either way. If we have a car, which we have one now, that we developed that ran the exhaust through here, so we have a code in this area to accept the exhaust coming out the back.
So you can adapt it to anything you want.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, as a matter of fact, if you go on my website, you'll see a 1973 AMX with a V12 Aston Martin drivetrain under it, we use the same CAD data that we use on this car, except we scan the perimeter of the car and use that data to cut U4 pans and put a frame under that car. Now this is Chris Awesome Chassis Work components. These are top-notch pieces that comes with brand new housing. It's Fab 9 housing. It comes with a brand new strange center section with any gear ratio that you want. Positive track if you request it. We have Vera shocks, and the canted 4-bar is all aluminum, milled aluminum control arms, upper and lower. It also has a torsion bar sway bar. They just make a really nice piece.
And that's going to make it, that's going to help keep this rear end planted in the corners a little bit better than your normal Mustang. Wow. Very nice. And folks, you can see under here all the welds and all. I mean it is. It's just, it's a commercial operation. I know y'all are watching on Scotty D TV thinking, well, this guy's out in somebody's garage, but this is every bit as good as you're going to find from anybody, probably a little bit better. And the nice thing is you're going to be able to build your own Eleanor, you know, or you can have, better yet, you can have Larry build you one. What, and you may not know at this point, but what's the price point on these cars when you get them done? Obviously, you got to understand, folks, and let me clarify this, okay? In hot rodding, a lot has to do with your personal taste, because you can put a $4,000 paint job on a car, or you can put a $25,000 paint job on a car. You can put 10 grand worth of interior in the car, or you can put 25 grand worth of interior in the car. Wheels, tires, it all adds up. But let's just ballpark somebody. I mean, is this going to be a 6-figure car? Are you going to be able to buy these cars for $80,000? Are they going to be $125,000? I mean, what, you know?
Well, I don't have a turnkey price point yet. I can tell you that platforms, which come complete with brakes, steering columns, it starts radiator support, inner fenders, firewall, tunnel, floor pans, complete, and you can set a body on it. Those with your body mounted are $22,000.
Okay.
And you supply the wheels and tires.
Right, right.
I supply the rest of it.
And that's just a rolling chassis with your body mount, with my body mounted on it.
Your body mounted on it. Now I happen to have a platform out here that's a factory Ford Mustang platform that we cut a body off of.
Okay.
Now it's already been mounted on a new chassis.
Right.
It's at the other place, but I can at least show you what they look like.
Okay, yeah, let's go outside and take a look at that. Folks, we'll be right back. I know this video is going long, but you got to admit, all this is interesting information. So now what I'm going to do is go outside and we're going to see what Ford's basically, what their platform looks like. And you'll be able to see the difference. So we'll be right back. All right, folks, so here we go. This is, tell me what this is, Larry.
All right, this is a platform that Ford Motor Company made in 1968. This is just like the 64 through 70 Mustang platforms. They have a little different, you know, the bodies look different, but the platforms are basically the same. And so this is a typical Mustang. Maybe a little better than the typical, but it still has rust. It has lots of issues that will keep you from putting big motors, good suspensions, and big wheels under it.
It'd be a lot of work to fix this one.
A lot of work.
And I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look as well constructed as the one that you put together, so I mean, you're gaining in that too.
Well, what we have is when we cut your Mustang body off, we set it on our platform, it just replaces everything that you see here.
So what do you go around with like a plasma cutter or something and just actually cut that body even all the way around?
That's what we do.
And then when you put it back on, do you put a support between this and the platform, or it just welds right to it?
Welds right to it. Because I've got all that data that we've got a little wider tub. The back seat will still fit in the car though.
Wow.
But we removed the shock towers.
See, that's the big difference, folks. That's what motivated Larry to start, is these pieces, the shock towers right here, because you can see there's not much room to put a big motor in there.
But here's the cool thing that we do. When we build this, we incorporate a panel that looks just like this, that's recessed. You can put your factory brakes on it. Your steering column comes out the hole. It's a basically a bolt-in piece.
So you make all the changes, but you keep everything the same so that it's very easy to put universal parts or something that fits on a 67 will fit on this 67. You're a smart man, Larry. You've been doing this a while. Got it down to a science.
Yeah, I've done this painted my first car in 1969.
Really? What color
Yes.
was it?
It was a maroon Volkswagen
Oh, wow.
with white lace.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that was.
So it was custom?
I was in.
Yeah,
I was in back then. Buddy.
Right. Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Uh-huh. And through the years, you figured out what works and what doesn't work. Man. Folks, you got to know, when I come out and do these, I don't just bring you just anybody off the street just to make a video. I mean, I pride myself in trying to find the best builders and the people that take as much pride in their work as I do. And I think if you get anything through B-Rod Customs, you'll be very happy. And if you're not, I know Larry will do what it takes to make it happen that way. And then, of course, you get the advantage too of PJ. We don't want to forget him.
No.
He's the master over there too. He's learned from you. And there for a while, people that haven't followed my channel, PJ's Larry's son, and he does some really creative, nice work too.
PJ is, I guess he's the creative arm. I'm the one that keeps us grounded, and I keep the lights turned on, and we collaborate on everything.
Right.
But it's a neat story about PJ and how he really learned his trade well. Being around me all these years, you know, we chopped top cars, motorcycles, you know, anything with wheels we were building.
Right.
But when he got to where he was ready to want to work for me, he had already had other jobs. He just didn't really want to do this work. He came to me one day and he wanted to work, and I said, PJ, I don't think it's a good idea you've been around me, you need to see what other people do. So I called up my friend Bobby Alloway and asked Bobby to give PJ a chance to come over and work for him and see what he could do. And Pete was with Bobby for about 3 years, and during this period of time Bobby guided him. PJ always had the talent, but he learned the eye from Bobby Alloway.
That's not a bad eye to learn.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It was a good eye.
He was lucky because he was in between two great builders.
Right.
He had you around all of his life, and then you were right. Again, you're right. I think in that let him get out and get somebody else's style and way of doing things in his head was, you know, because if it just came from you, he'd be another you. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing, but it's nice to mix a little Bobby Alloway in with you, and now what do we got?
Well, and it's just not Bobby. He got to rub elbows with other people.
Right.
He got to see a different side of the business than just seeing Daddy. And you got to understand, Daddy was building cars kind of in a semi mode, because I owned Strip Technologies for the last 20 years.
Right.
And that was started by me because I couldn't find anybody to clean my metal.
Right.
And so once I started that, I didn't have enough of me to go around.
Right.
so when PJ came back on board, it allowed me to go with Strip Tech, and we work now, we collaborate.
Right. Yeah, we don't want to forget him because he's a big part of the deal too. Well, Larry, I appreciate you letting me see what one of these things look like. You know, it gives us a better idea of what's going on in there, I think. And folks, you know, there you go. That's what Ford uses as a platform. And if you're redoing a Mustang, I can't see that you would want to. You know, I don't see how you get around calling up Larry and getting one of these platforms to start with. So, Larry, again, I appreciate it, brother.
All right.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Later.
Folks, there you go. Little story I did on the Ford Mustang original platform from B-Rod Customs or Strip Technologies. Hope you all enjoyed it. Have a good day.